Security cameras don't dream. They don't imagine things. They record exactly what happens. So explain this. Why did camera 12 record a woman that nobody in the building could see? I watched the footage 7 times, every frame, every second. And after the 7th time, she looked directly at me. My name is Daniel, and this is why I will never work another night shift again. 3 months ago, I accepted a job as a night security guard at Blackwood Business Center. It wasn't the kind of place you'd notice during the day, a modern 6-story office building surrounded by empty parking lots. Law firms, insurance companies, accounting offices, nothing unusual. The night shift sounded easy. From 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., my responsibilities were simple. Walk every floor once an hour, watch the security cameras, lock every entrance, go home. The pay was surprisingly good, almost too good. I ignored that thought. Bills don't care where the money comes from. On my first night, the day guard handed me a thick ring of keys. He smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It looked forced, as if he wanted to say something but changed his mind. Just before leaving, he stopped at the door. Without looking back, he said, "If camera 12 starts acting strange, don't rewind the footage." I laughed. "Old building?" He didn't answer. The elevator doors closed, and I never saw him again. The first week was painfully boring. Every hour felt the same. Walk, check doors, drink coffee, watch monitors, repeat. By the 4th night, I knew every hallway by memory, every squeaky door, every flickering light, even the strange sounds the air conditioning made. Nothing ever happened. Until Friday. At exactly 2:17 a.m., every monitor flickered, just once. The lights in the security office dimmed for less than a second. Then everything returned to normal. Or so I thought. Camera 12 showed the 4th floor hallway, a hallway I had walked through less than 10 minutes earlier. It should have been empty. Instead, someone was standing there. A woman, long black hair, a white dress, barefoot. She wasn't moving. She wasn't looking around. She simply stood in the middle of the hallway, perfectly still. At first, I assumed she was lost. Maybe someone had stayed late. I reached for the radio. "Control to floor 4. Do we have anyone working late?" Only static answered. Then my phone rang. It was my supervisor. Before I could speak, he asked one question. "Daniel, did camera 12 just flicker?" My heart skipped a beat. "Yeah." Silence. Then he quietly replied, "Don't take your eyes off the monitor." I looked back at the screen. The woman was gone. No footsteps, no opening door, no elevator, no movement. She hadn't walked away. She had simply disappeared. I immediately opened the playback controls. If someone had entered, the recording would prove it. I dragged the timeline back exactly 1 minute. 2:16 a.m. Empty hallway. 2:17 a.m. The screen filled with static. For exactly 2 seconds. When the picture returned, the woman was already standing there. Not walking, not appearing, just standing, as if she had always been there. My stomach tightened. Something about the footage felt wrong. Not scary, wrong. Like reality itself had skipped a frame. Then I noticed something that made the hair on my arms stand up. The camera timestamp was still counting forward, but the wall clock in the hallway wasn't moving. Every second passed. The CCTV timer changed, but the clock behind the woman remained frozen at exactly 2:17 a.m. Daniel zoomed into the woman's face. Just before the image finished loading, His office door slowly creaked open behind him. He was supposed to be alone. The office door creaked open. Slowly. Daniel turned around so fast that his chair rolled backward. The room was empty. The hallway outside was dark. The motion sensor lights hadn't even turned on. He grabbed his flashlight. Hello? No answer. Only silence. He stepped into the hallway. His flashlight swept across the walls. Nothing. No footsteps. No shadows. No one. He slowly closed the office door and returned to his chair. The security monitors were still running, except camera 12. It had frozen. The woman was still standing there, exactly where she'd been before. But something had changed. Her head was slightly tilted. Daniel was certain it hadn't been like that a minute ago. He leaned closer to the screen. A chill ran through his body. The image wasn't frozen. The hallway lights were flickering. Dust was floating through the air. Only the woman wasn't moving, not even blinking. Daniel opened the recording software. He wanted to export the footage, but every time he clicked save, an error appeared. File not found. That made no sense. The footage was playing. He rewound again. This time, frame by frame. 2:16:58. Empty hallway. 2:16:59. Empty hallway. 2:17. Static. 2:17:01. The woman. He frowned. There was no frame where she entered. No shadow. No reflection. Nothing. She simply existed after the static. Then, another detail caught his eye. The reflection in the polished floor. The hallway lights reflected perfectly. The walls reflected perfectly. But the woman had no reflection at all. Daniel's mouth went dry. Against his better judgment, he took the elevator to the 4th floor. The doors opened with a soft ding. The hallway looked exactly like it did on camera 12. Long, silent, empty. The same vending machine, the same emergency exit sign, the same clock. He looked up. The clock read 2:23 a.m. Normal. So why had it been frozen in the recording? Daniel slowly walked to the exact spot where the woman had stood. He pointed his flashlight at the floor. Nothing. No footprints. No signs anyone had been there. Then, his flashlight flickered. Once. Twice. Then it went out. The hallway fell into darkness. He tapped the flashlight. Nothing. A cold breeze brushed past him. There were no open windows, no air vents nearby. Yet he clearly heard someone breathing. Not in front of him, right behind him. Daniel spun around. No one. His flashlight suddenly switched back on by itself. The hallway was empty, but the vending machine at the end of the corridor had changed. Its glass reflected the hallway behind Daniel. In the reflection, the woman stood only a few feet behind him. Daniel froze. He slowly turned around. Nothing. He looked back at the vending machine. She was still there, standing perfectly still, watching him. He blinked. The reflection was empty again. Daniel hurried back downstairs. His heart was racing. As he stepped into the lobby, he noticed an elderly janitor mopping the floor. Strange. He had never seen him before. The old man looked up. "You went to the 4th floor, didn't you?" Daniel stared. "How did you know?" The janitor sighed. "Everyone does." "What do you mean?" The old man rested both hands on the mop, then quietly said, "The cameras don't show ghosts." Daniel frowned. "Then what do they show?" The janitor looked toward the security office. His face suddenly became serious. "They show people who haven't realized they're dead." Daniel laughed nervously. The janitor didn't smile. He simply whispered, "Don't ever let her see your face." Daniel's heart skipped a beat. "What?" Before the old man could answer, every light in the lobby went out. Complete darkness. When the emergency lights turned on, the janitor was gone. His mop, his bucket, everything had disappeared, as if he'd never been there. Daniel rushed back into the security office. He looked at camera 12. The hallway was empty. He exhaled with relief. Then, the monitor emitted a loud static burst. The woman suddenly appeared again, closer than before. This time, she wasn't looking at the camera. She was looking straight into Daniel's eyes. Then, for the first time, she smiled. On the monitor, she slowly raised one hand and pointed toward the security office, toward him. At that exact moment, someone knocked 3 times on the office door. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel looked at the monitor, then at the door, then back at the monitor. The woman was gone, but the knocking continued. The knocking stopped. Complete silence filled the security office. Daniel refused to open the door. Instead, he grabbed the master keyring and remembered something the building manager had once said. "Whatever you do, never go into the archive room." That warning suddenly felt important. The archive was located in the basement. Officially, it stored old building records. Unofficially, nobody had entered it in years. The basement elevator shook as it descended. When the doors opened, the smell of damp concrete filled the air. The lights flickered one by one. Daniel found a steel door marked Archive, Authorized Personnel Only. The lock was covered in dust. He inserted the master key. It didn't fit. He tried another, then another. On the 7th key, click. The heavy door slowly opened. Rows of metal shelves stretched into darkness. Thousands of old folders, employee records, incident reports, security logs, everything dating back almost 30 years. Daniel searched for one thing: camera 12. After several minutes, he found a thick black folder. The cover read. He opened it. The first page made his heart stop. Incident number 12. Date, October 9th, 2018. Time, 2:17 a.m. Subject, unknown female appears on camera 12. Daniel swallowed. Same time, same camera, exactly like tonight. He turned the page. Another report. 2019, 2:17 a.m. Unknown female. Another guard resigned. 2020, camera malfunction. Guard hospitalized. 2021, guard disappeared, never found. 2022, security footage corrupted, case closed. Every single report ended the same way. 2:17 a.m., camera 12. Daniel whispered, "This has been happening for years." Inside the folder, a loose photograph fell onto the floor. It showed 5 security guards standing together outside the building. Daniel counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He froze. The 5th guard looked familiar. Too familiar. He brought the picture closer. It wasn't someone who looked like him. Not a relative. It was him. Same face, same uniform, same name tag. Daniel. But the photograph was dated 2018. 5 years before he had ever worked there. His hands began to shake. That's impossible. He flipped the photo over. Someone had written a sentence in faded black ink. If you're reading this, you're already too late. At the bottom of the folder was an old DVD, written on it by hand. Do not watch after 2:17 a.m. Daniel stared at it, then laughed nervously. I've already come this far. He carried the disc upstairs and inserted it into an old computer. The recording loaded. Black and white CCTV footage. The date, October 9th, 2018. A security guard sat alone in the office. He looked exhausted. Daniel leaned closer. The guard slowly turned toward the camera. It was him, not someone similar, not a relative, him. The man on the screen suddenly spoke. His voice cracked with fear. If you're watching this, don't rewind camera 12. Daniel's blood ran cold. The recording continued. The guard looked directly into the lens. Tears filled his eyes. She doesn't come through the camera. He paused, then whispered, the camera comes through to her. Static exploded across the screen. The video ended. The computer shut itself off. At that exact moment, every monitor in the security office switched on together. Every single camera showed the same thing, the woman. Standing in different places, stairwell, lobby, parking lot, 4th floor, elevator, basement. She wasn't trapped in camera 12 anymore, she was everywhere. Then, all 12 women slowly turned their heads and looked directly at Daniel. Every monitor went black. Only one line appeared in white letters. She knows your name. Daniel's phone vibrated. An unknown number had sent him a single image. It was a live photo. Not from the CCTV, from inside the security office. He looked at the image. It showed him, standing in front of the monitors. The picture had been taken from behind him. Daniel spun around. Nobody. The office was empty. Then, every monitor switched back on. Camera 12 was no longer showing the 4th floor hallway. It was showing the security office. Daniel watched himself standing in front of the screens, exactly where he was now. The CCTV feed was live, but something was wrong. The Daniel on the monitor wasn't moving the same way. It smiled. Daniel wasn't smiling. The figure on the screen slowly raised one finger and pointed toward the office door. A loud knock echoed through the room. Knock, knock, knock. The door slowly opened by itself. A cold breeze filled the room. Standing outside was the woman. Long black hair, white dress, barefoot. This time she wasn't blurry. She looked completely real. She spoke for the first time. Her voice was soft, almost sad. You finally saw me. Daniel couldn't move. His legs refused to obey. She took one slow step inside. The temperature dropped instantly. Every computer screen filled with static. Only one monitor remained clear. Camera 12. It was now recording the office and Daniel. The woman stopped only a few feet away. She looked directly into his eyes, then quietly asked, "Do you know why I appear at 2:17?" Daniel slowly shook his head. Tears formed in her eyes. Because that's the moment nobody came. She pointed toward the fourth floor. The fire alarm failed. The cameras failed. The people outside never believed me. I died waiting for someone to see me. Daniel finally understood. She hadn't been haunting the building. She had been trying to get someone's attention. For years, every guard who saw her ran away. No one ever listened. Daniel took one careful step forward. I see you. The woman closed her eyes. For the first time, she smiled. Not the terrifying smile from before, a peaceful one. The lights stopped flickering. The static disappeared. Every monitor returned to normal. The woman slowly faded into the darkness until she was gone. Daniel thought it was over. He sat down, exhausted. Then the building manager entered the office. He looked at the monitors, then at Daniel. You saw her, didn't you? Daniel nodded. The manager sighed. I should have told you the truth years ago. He placed a small metal box on the desk. Inside was an old newspaper clipping. The headline read, Security company hid fire alarm failure after fatal office fire. The manager whispered, We covered it up. The company blamed faulty wiring, but the alarms had been disabled during maintenance. She kept calling for help, and nobody came. Daniel looked at camera 12. The hallway was empty. Finally. 3 weeks later, the building was permanently closed. Camera 12 was removed. The fourth floor was demolished. Daniel left security work forever. He never spoke about that night again. Until, one rainy evening, he was scrolling through an online auction website. Someone was selling old office equipment. Among the listings, he saw a familiar item. Security camera, model C12. The exact camera from Blackwood Business Center. The listing had only one photograph. Daniel clicked it. His heart stopped. The camera lens reflected the person taking the picture, but there was only one reflection. The woman, standing behind the seller, smiling. Some cameras don't capture ghosts. They capture the moments that refuse to be forgotten.